Welcome back to another video. Now, this one is usually different than what I usually make for Path of Titans especially, but all I wanted to talk about really was just the potential for the next TLC and who I think it could be. This is all just mere speculation, but I am 90% sure that Suko Mimus is the next TLC. Due to the mini changes it also got similar to Dynakairos, of course, minus the combat weight and health changes. But mainly due to its passive abilities, pretty much like its bite and claw attack and its claw barrage, especially getting reworked, and all of them having like little passives where they deal extra damage, whether to dry targets or wet targets. But anyway, I wanted to bring this up because there's just a lot to really talk about here when it comes to this. And the main thing I wanted to bring up mainly why I think it's the next TLC is mainly because, again, the evidence so far I have gathered from the recent TLCs. So this video I'll be pretty much talking about, well, I already discussed why I think it's going to be the next TLC. And then the next thing I'm going to be bringing up will also be like what potential abilities and changes it could be getting, what kind of playstyle they could be trying to opt in for it. And also the final thing will probably be just theories on or speculation on when the release could be for the TLC, if it is to happen. But anyway, so in terms of its abilities, we already knew Suko had an empty vocal slot before they patched it. The same thing could be said for, Rex and Io when they had their empty vocal slots as well. So far what I've seen, though, is that they were all hidden away, of course, eventually until their TLCs released. Suko's vocal slot was hidden away, so it's safe to assume, again, this is all just speculation, that it's going to be getting vocal abilities. Potentially getting 2 to 3 to even more. Who knows? Because most TLCs usually get at least around, when it comes to getting a vocal ability, they usually get quite a bit of different vocal abilities. Dasp and Rex got about 3 of them. Before that, Pycno did get just only one brand new one, which was of course the Deep Breaths ability. Other than that, though, I believe that Suko could be potentially getting maybe the one ability I can expect Suko to most likely get, but again, speculation, is Hiss. Will it be around the same amount as Dynakairos' is? Probably not. The way I see it, Dynakairos is already pretty good because it is a tier 5 or a 5 slot, so which means 15% damage reduction makes sense for it. Suko, though, is a 4 slot. So probably the safest number to assume of if it does get Hiss, the safe number of damage reduction it could potentially get is most likely, well, what I can most likely think is it's probably going to get around maybe 20 to 25% of damage reduction, because I think anything higher than that is a little too much, especially for a 4 slot. And the reason why I think it's going to most likely get this ability is, for one, Suko does make hissing sounds when it does do some of its calls. So another thing is that Suko doesn't have really any abilities to help it against especially Apexes, which is the main issue that it really has right now. Is that, I mean, I'm not saying that it should be an Apex killer, but I feel like Suko should not be able to at least be able to defend themselves pretty decently well against them. So far, their big weakness to getting, attacked is usually by Tyranno Titans. And Tyranno Titan already has an ability similar as well to where it can literally reduce any damage incoming for it. Which, again, kind of makes sense. They probably wanted to do that for it to just have more of a fighting chance, especially against other Apexes. But anyway, in terms of the next ability I'm pretty sure it's most likely going to get is the updated nictitating membrane. To those who don't know, Dynakairos and Suko, before Dynakairos' TLC, it actually had nictitating membrane removed. Suko's has theirs currently removed as well. So, kind of safe to assume at this point that it's most likely going to be getting this ability, and with its new update. The way I see it, though, I think these abilities need to be a passive. And I'm even going to say this for Serato's TLC, is that it needs Carcass Tracker to be a passive as well. I don't think it should be a sensibility. It's just not worth sacrificing for damage buffing abilities, especially in Serato's current situation. Same thing could be said for Dynakairos, where it has options either to deal more damage against with Drench Blows, or just simply have better stamina. And also, you know, just things like that. Besides that point, I do believe that Tsuko is most likely to be getting that, yes, that updated nictitating membrane ability. Which, honestly, seeing the description of how they made it, it looks really nice. In terms of another ability, could it be potentially getting more claw abilities? I doubt that it's going to be getting backhand. I'm sorry, I think Dynakairos should be the only thing that has that ability because, for one, it's extremely comedic for this thing to have it. If you can already see by this clip already, I was literally practically bullying this poor little Deinonychus. But anyway, besides the point, I'm gonna skip past that now. The point is, I believe Tsuko is bound to definitely get nictitating membrane, the updated version. Not only that, I think it is also going to be getting definitely some more hide options potentially. I fear that it will be losing Slick Scales and it will be losing Stomp, since a lot of creatures that has had Slick Scales or Stomp have lost it with their TLCs. Which, most likely, they're probably going to bring back Stomp. There's a chance that they could be bringing it back after the AoE reworks. It's just right now they feel like probably like Stomps are not good because of the fact that they're so broken with the AoEs. But besides that point, the next thing I wanted to also bring up is now just speculation on how they release it and when. The idea is, I think Tsuko could be getting it potentially. Well, before I even say guess the date, we have to look at the dates of when the other TLC is released. So if we look at it now, Tyrannosaurus' TLC released on the 27th of March, which was on a Thursday. Literally 1 week later, the next Thursday, we got the Eotrike on April 3rd. So those were just a week apart. But after that, 1 week later, we didn't even get a TLC. But then another week later, we ended up getting, on the 18th, which was last Friday, we got Deinakairos. So it was approximately about almost like 2 week wait for another TLC. So my guess for how they're probably going to do this is they probably want to release these two creatures that have like, pretty much, they obviously released Rex and Eo, I guess because they want them to be like rivals in a way, and release them pretty much within a week apart. The way I see it is that Tsuko most likely could be getting theirs a week later as well. But again, this is just all mere speculation on how long I think this will eventually, like, be released. So my assumption, or my guess for the release date could be this Friday, the 25th. But if I am wrong, of course, because again, all mere speculation. I'm not here to say like, oh, how it's, when it's going to release or anything like that. I just think this one is going to release most likely on a Friday, either of this week or next week. Or maybe they could take a little longer with it just to kind of get things more down. But the way I see it is they did really good with Deinakairos' TLC. The abilities work really well. There seems to be, honestly, not a lot of issues I've seen with it so far. As you can see when I'm playing it, I already figured out a build I like to rock with. Besides that point, I think Tsuko is definitely most likely to release by this Friday. And if I guess wrong, do not get mad at me for this again. This is, again, all just speculation, theories, everything like that. Now, in terms of what kind of playstyle they're planning on getting Tsuko, which I feel like I should have discussed this before I thought of the date it could release. In terms of that part now, is the difficult part to think about. And the reason is because, unlike Deinakairos, Tsuko Mimus is not very fast in the water. Even if you spec into a full water build, yes, you're the fastest thing in the water, but the problem is, again, you're not really meant to have a kind of build like that. So maybe it's going to be more fleshed out to where you do have the options to being spec into more land or water-based combat, or even a good mix of both. They did the same thing with Deinakairos, which is really nice. It has its options. But I believe that Suko is definitely next on the list to be getting something similar to Dinokairos. I highly doubt that it's Spinal that's next because the devs have already stated that Spinal's still a long ways, and they most likely would probably want to get that one really right because to think about it too, when it comes to getting especially a model, because it's clear that people want a remodel for it, and it's clear that the devs want to do it as well. The problem is getting an accurate Spinal nowadays really hard to get to like nail that. It's really hard to do that. But let me know in the comments if you guys are excited for Suko's TLC as well. Because again, as a Suko main, this excites me. And this is why I'm making a video like this, just mainly out of speculation, to discuss what it could potentially get, when it could release, and what they're planning on doing for it. Because honestly, again, I have no idea. But even then, it's going to be a pretty interesting time for especially like Suko mains out there. Because right now it is an interesting time for, again, most people who main these dinos that get their TLCs. It becomes very fun. It makes them want to try it out. It makes them want to think, like, it gets them thinking of what kind of build they want, what's a good build for it, how they want to play it, things like that. But anyway, what do you guys think? When do you guys think it would release? Do you guys think it's the next one, or do you guys have an idea of another dino being the next, TLC? I will say this though, I don't think it's bars. Because bars, first of all, they need to implement the AoE rework before they can even release bars as TLC. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, what do you all think of this? This is going to be a pretty short video. This is just a simple speculation video. And yeah, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. And again, take all this information with a grain of salt. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.